And welcome in, everybody. Breaking news here in Eagle Land. The first free agency signing of 2026 has landed for the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's going to be cornerback 2, Tariq Woolen, with the Seattle Seahawks, formerly just won a Super Bowl in February, has now signed a one-year, $15 million deal with the Philadelphia Eagles. 6'4", ran a 4.26. John, he was famous for that big 40 back in the day at the Combine. J-Mac, your first reaction to the Eagles signing of cornerback Tariq Woolen after a quiet first couple days of free agency?
Well, I think everybody's finally happy. Big name, so that'll get some people off the Walt Whitman. They made a move. Should be an upgrade at cornerback too. I think it's got repercussions. I think likely, if you think about it, when the Eagles are in base, which is rare, to the point I don't like calling it base defense, but when they are in base defense and there's only two corners on the field, you lose Reed Blankenship. That probably is an indication that Cooper DeJean will play safety in the base, then move to slots in the nickel. And obviously they're going to need a new safety to replace Reed Blankenship. But that's my first immediate thoughts, that Cooper will, instead of playing outside corner in the base like he did last year, will move to safety in the base. And that's just my speculation. Too early to get that kind of information. But and the second part is it's a 1 year up to $15 million deal. So I'll be interested. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of incentives in there because 1 year, $15 million. That's a bit pricey for this particular player who had a tremendous rookie season. Ironically, by the way, when Clint Hurt was there, so add that into the mix. And when he was the defensive coordinator in Seattle, that's when he had his best season. Hasn't played as well in over the ensuing seasons, to the point that Josh Jobe, a former Eagle, was a little bit ahead of him, but they both played a lot. But yeah, it's an upgrade, and it's what the Eagles want. The Eagles like those long corners who can run. As you mentioned, he ran, I think, a 4.26.
Yep.
Coming out. So it's rare. That's what they liked about Keely Ringo, though. And it didn't, because he's long and he can run.
Well, so this player certainly is a little bit more experienced playing corner than Ringo.
Yeah. I mean, but they like that template.
Right.
That's what they're looking for. The length and the speed. And he's certainly got that. He's certainly got the familiarity, similar scheme that Seattle played. Not quite, but I would imagine that Vic Fangio tends to get the most out of people. So I think that'll help. I think being back with Clint Hurt, even though he's not working with the secondary, gives him a little bit of familiarity with the organization. Big name. So I think Eagles fans will be happy.
John, I think the one thing to ask you here is, any idea why Johnny gets a 1 year deal? He's a 26-year-old guy. Obviously, had an electric start to his career. Johnny's up to 12 picks in his career. But if you guys remember his rookie year, he came on strong, had 6 interceptions. And now he gets to the open market, John. Doesn't sign till day 2 and gets a 1 year deal. What do you know about the player and why he got a 1 year deal as opposed to maybe a longer term deal here? I saw the player and I was thinking, hey, is this a 2 or 3 year deal? As they try and lead into those extensions for Cooper and Quinyon that are coming down the pipeline, but it's just a 1 year deal. What do you make of it?
Yeah, as I said, he was, kind of had a tremendous rookie season and hasn't played nearly as well since. So, that's where he is in his career. It's a prove it deal. My guess, and again, this is just my guess, it's really a 1 year deal for $9-10 million at the most with incentives. And he'll hope to get back into free agency, play well for a good team, and then he's young enough to be able to cash in on a multi-year deal if he plays well with the Eagles. So I think it's a good situation for him. I think it's an upgrade for the Eagles. And I think it works all around. And the 1 year part of it, I think, is very good for the Eagles, because if it doesn't work, you just move on.
Yeah, good stuff. John, how do you think he fits with Cooper and Quinyon? I like what you mentioned about the base defense, but how's he work with zone? How's he going to fit with Vic Fangio? I know this is a quick report, John, so we'll elaborate further on this on Birds 365 when you have some time, to sit down and get it done. I know you're on the fly right now, but what do you know about the player in terms of a fit with the defense?
Well, I think Vic does a good job of molding around the players and the strengths that they have. So I don't worry too much about that. He'll sort of hone in on what he does well and sort of use that to the best of the Eagles' abilities with the grouping. It's easy to play with opposite Quinyon. It's easy to play with Cooper DeJean on the field. So I think that's gonna help anybody that they brought in. It helped Adoree Jackson. It helps Drew Makuba when he was out there as a rookie. So anytime you play with players that are that good, I think it's going to help people. And he's coming off a Super Bowl season, obviously tremendous success with that defense, which was arguably last year even better than the Eagles defense. So, from a team standpoint, he's had tremendous success and he's coming off tremendous success. But yeah, I mean, you're right to ask yourself, why is somebody that young, that gifted, only getting a 1-year deal in free agency? It's because he hasn't played that well since his rookie season.
No doubt. We're going to see what ends up happening here. John, I did read something right when I just saw it go live. I just typed in the name, started to do some research that he was benched with 2 different coaching staffs. Is that true? I don't know if it's true, but I did see that he was benched
he
and
definitely
benched.
I don't know if he's benched. He was benched before Mike McDonald got there. I don't have the information. I know he started almost every game last season under Mike McDonald. Now, obviously, like most teams, they play nickel the vast majority of the time. So you have 3 starters, along with Derek Witherspoon, who's one of the best corners in football, similar to Quinyon Mitchell. Josh Jobe, who, remember, Josh Jobe was here. He got a 3-year deal from Seattle. So Seattle chose Josh Jobe.
And they also have Witherspoon.
Yeah, Witherspoon's one of the best corners in football.
Yeah, right.
But he started. So I don't know if he was benched under Mike McDonald. He might have been for a short period. He was definitely benched before that, to the point he was, always in trade talks. So it is something that, you put certainly in the hopper. But that's why I like the 1-year deal. He's got to prove it to get back to free agency, to get the big deal that he wants. It has upside for him. Again, it's a 1-year deal up to $15 million. So my presumption is there's going to be a lot of incentives, but that gives him an opportunity, and that lights a fire under him to produce. So I think it's a good framework for the Eagles. And again, the best part is if it doesn't work out, it's 1 year, you turn the page and move on.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what that contract looks like. Johnny Mac, the secondary is coming into shape here. You got Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Tariq Woolen, Andrew Makuba, presumably back at safety. 1 spot to go after the Reed Blankenship signed with the Houston Texans yesterday. But what's your thought, man? That is definitely an improved cornerback too. At least I would say, at least on paper right now, from Adoree Jackson last year. What's your thought on how that secondary is taking shape right now for the Birds?
Yeah, and if anytime I kind of subscribe to how he's thinking, anytime you have Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, you're in pretty good shape. So
yeah, I subscribe to that as well.
So, and Cooper, I would, I'm gonna almost guarantee he's gonna play safety in the base if Tariq Woolen holds his water. So that makes it a little bit easier to find another safety who's not going to have to play the workload that Reed Blankenship did, because Cooper's going to be out there for 15% of the snaps playing safety. So I can't tell you how important Cooper DeJean is to this team, because he can play he's the best slot corner in football. He can play safety. He can play outside corner. It's rare to have and play it at a high level. It's rare to have that kind of versatility.
No doubt about it. Big signing here for the